Wi-Fi calling time. I'm probably not gonna be at the next meeting, and more than likely I'll be spraying something somewhere.
The window is blowing.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Never at meetings. The
I
window is blowing.
missed one class.
He may be in his farm for a long time. I don't wanna say he's got a lot of common sense. Get too big.
Okay, we're back in open session. I think that brings us down to the consent agenda.
I gave you guys a new warrant register. So in QuickBooks, you can either do a cash accrual or a cash basis or an accrual basis report. And the way that I print my checks off, you're gonna see them on the accrual basis report, and the first round, I printed the cash basis, so. That's why you got a new one tonight. I promised the EMT got paid.
I was just checking.
I know. I'm glad you
Don't
were
you
looking
cash
at
the checks?
it. They just weren't on their
I didn't
report.
want them all mad at me for not turning it in. I didn't see anything that was.
While they're looking over that, Bill, while they're looking over that, I just saw this note down here on your maintenance meeting. Is he asking if he can work and get paid?
On the after hours, after he's done with school. Yes.
Okay. How old is he?
He's 18. He's a good kid. He's done everything I've asked, and no arguments, and he just goes right after it.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Future business, I already alluded to it earlier, with the numbers and stuff coming back from the EMS, because they're gonna send it out to bid, so they'll have hard numbers coming up right at the beginning of April. So, we'll need to plan a work session for the week of April 17th or 24th, where we could look at and make some decisions on how that bid comes back. So are there any dates in there that work for all of you?
The 17th is the planning commission meeting, if you're looking at evening time. Unless you wanted to go, before that.
I mean,
It starts at 7.
I would like the 19th at 5:30.
19th works for me.
Yep. Everybody?
I will be, I'll be at a workshop. I don't know about Jeremy.
Yeah.
Jeremy, I think he changed his work schedule, so we might check with him, but I think his work schedule, he's off now on Mondays and Thursdays.
So did you say 5:30?
Yeah. If he can't be there, I mean, we're gonna try and invite Carol and the other ones that were here for the last work session too.
I mean, I think it would be important for him to be here.
You said he's off Thursdays too?
Mondays and Thursdays, but then Thursdays is the EMT class, and he's here to help out with labs, and that starts at 6.
Can we push planning and zoning to the 24th?
I can check.
I just don't know that we'd be done by I mean, we might be done by 7. If we start at 5:30. I could actually start earlier than 5:30 on Monday
You can't.
to the track.
Yeah.
Well, would 5:30 on the 17th work?
Yeah.
Yeah. Determined, yeah, we'll go with yeah.
Maybe farming, maybe not. 80?
Yeah.
Okay, let's make it the 17th at 5:30. I still don't know that we have enough I think we should just keep the joint meeting with the school board on, future business for the time being. Our group for the daycare needs some time to meet before we have something firm to talk about as a group. Anybody else have future business discussion?
To go along with that, West Collins Street, I know you're talking, I called Dan
Oh.
Garber, about the school part, down on, South Santa Fe. So I think we'll keep that on for future discussion once we learn a little bit more about
Where that's going?
the surveying and property lines and all that.
Yep.
We're just gonna keep on the future business bi-monthly meetings.
Yeah, we will take it up next month
If we have a full goal.
if we have a
I'm not making any promises. Let's hope on some rain. I like rain better than wind.
Do you have anything else to add, Ron? Before we adjourn for the evening?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be real curious to see our next meeting with EMS in the hospital. With not knowing what's going on there. One thing we will be having is a work study session, our commission, with kind of plans on what we, each one of us sees as goals for this next year. And one of those that has been brought up before, and maybe it'll have some traction this time, is doing NRP for the county, neighborhood revitalization plan for the county. Y'all familiar with that, or? Yeah, it's based on a 5-year tax rebate for new construction. The taxes stay the same. If it's a renovation on a house, it has to be so much % of the increase in the valuation, minimum amount to qualify. You just can't go out and pay a house and be qualified.
Well, we've talked about that a little bit before, and our city attorney is actually working on an economic development package for Pretty Prairie as well. So hopefully those will go hand in hand a little bit.
And that'll be up for conversation, and with the idea that if the city wants to join in, that can be great. We've got, I could still, and here was what we've been doing isn't working too well, so we need to look and do some other things. I know Kingman County has it, Stafford County has it, a lot of other counties have it. And so that's one of the things. We've got a couple of huge projects on with the county coming up. The Chambers bought 160 acres south of South Hutch, and we'll have to have some infrastructure down there, and the county's working with the city on that. We've got some things that they kind of agreed to, that that parcel will stay in the county. Go back to either South Hutch or Hutchinson, it will stay in the county. And Yoder needs some clean water to mix with their high nitrate water. And so we would be tapping off of that to go to Yoder. And then KLETC, as what I heard last was a $200 and several million project going in there. And so that's gonna dictate that since we have the wastewater district down there, the county's responsible for, we've got to purchase some property and add a couple more lagoons. And we were already working with the idea that Yoder is already outgrown their lagoon system, so we're gonna combine the two. Plans are to combine the two and, do the lagoons all at Habit. But, I'll just give you an idea of some pretty big projects that, we've got going on there, that are coming up.
When's your guys' work session?
Pardon?
Do you know when your work session is, when it's scheduled?
It'll be coming up, when's the next fifth Tuesday? I think that's when it's gonna be, the next fifth Tuesday.
Looks like May. Yeah, there's,
May 30th.
And we may have one before that, I can't tell you. April doesn't have 5. Yeah, May has 5. But I wouldn't be surprised we'll have one before that, who knows? Okay. Normally, we schedule a work study session on the 5th. It must have the 5th Tuesday in it. So, I just brief rundown of some of the things. I guess we got one other one too we ought to talk about. It's the renovation of the courthouse. The DA's office will have some new office areas there, an empty space that we're not using that needs to be in the DA's office is crowded. Sometimes they have 2 attorneys in one office, 1 cubicle. And then we want to move the IT department out of the basement up to that mezzanine floor. It's not being utilized. And then have some space for the drug unit, or however the sheriff wants to use that area, where the IT is. They're crowded over everybody in there. And we finally figured out a way to utilize it, make it AD accessible. It's about $260,000 cheaper than what the original effort was going to be. Maybe you've read about it already. Going to do a chairlift in place of a cantilevered walkway. And then our maintenance department will do some of the work in other areas or two. So, and then we don't know what's going to happen in a couple of years. Maybe the state's going to say, or the judge is going to say, hey, you've got to have 1 or 2 more judges here. What we're going to do about that, I do not know right now. But just to give you a little rundown on that, I don't even take too much of your time, but all I want to know is contact me if there's anything that I can possibly try to help with. Okay?
Thank you.
absolutely do that.
Thanks for the time.
Well, I got a question for you. Ask us something before you get run off. With that, I think I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Yeah, exactly right. Somebody, I bet,